talking basketball. They're fucking dumb as shit. They talk about basketball, but they will make dumb ass jokes.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pod Don't Lie with Sam and Stav, motherfucking April edition. Have we done one on April? I don't fucking know. Who gives a fuck?
I don't. Yeah, I think we did. We did a Patreon. This is our first regular.
Yes.
This is first
Spring,
regular
spring has motherfucking sprung. It's nice as shit out. Right now I'm podcasting, but in 1 hour I'm gonna be on my balcony, titties out, listening to fucking Selena, dude. Just getting the bass tan going to beady boom boom. That's what's in my heart. I heard someone rock. I went to Costco. I heard a guy fucking rocking Selena. I was like, yeah, I know I'm gonna be drinking a fucking diet root beer, getting my fucking nipples browned up to some fucking Selena after this. So
every time I'm outdoor of like a coffee shop, I feel like Paulie Walnuts just catching sun on The Sopranos. Dude. That just
it feels incredible. It's gonna be hard to give a fuck about anything, sort of including basketball. We're entering the kind of tough stretch where it's like, can we please get to the playoffs? It always like the NBA season needs to be even on a shortened season, it needs to be fucking 10 games short. Like I've always thought the season should be a little shorter and make each game matter a little more.
But do you get that fatigue where like you don't have the regular end of the early season excitement, but the playoffs aren't here yet? So we're like, all right, do I need to see like some of these games really don't matter? You know,
some of them don't. But I will give the NBA credit in terms of the play-in has made it a lot more interesting because
I don't like it because the Knicks might really be in this time and that could hurt us. But in the battle for stake, it's whoever gets the higher seed. It's not who makes the playoffs.
What do you mean?
Better record, regular season.
We bet better record. Now, if they face each other in the there might be a gentleman's
side
supplement
bet
to the bet, of course.
All right.
You know I'm chasing that action. You know I'm chasing that motherfucking action.
Bruce looked like a beast against the Nets here
tonight. I will say there two teams recently faced the Nets without KD or Harden, and
Harden played for a couple minutes against
one of them
us.
took care of business. I'll just say that. One team took care of business.
I will say the Knicks are having a hard time closing games. We've lost a lot of close games. And as much as I love Julius, we really need a second guy down the stretch.
The offense,
to win. Our offense is just not good. And in the half court, you really get exposed because we get a lot of transition points because our D is so good. But down the stretch, man, it's a lot of pressure on Julius, who's playing like 40 minutes a night to hit that game winner.
You know what's crazy? It's when I watch the games where I am sort of like, because again, battle for stake aside, I want the Knicks to win, right? So I watch these games that are close. Like it's one if a game is like out of hand, it's like, all right, great, they either won or they lost, and I can celebrate it either way. I'm either happy the Knicks won or I'm happy they fucking lost. But when it's a close game, I can't help but root for them, you know. And so and so that Brooklyn game, it really gave me flashbacks of like, oh, this is like the shittiest version of the Giannis Bucks offense. This is just like the poor man's version of that offense where it's like in the crunch time, it's like, Julius, I will say, is actually a better distributor, but worse at literally everything else except 3-point shooting.
12 assists last night, though, man.
So
you gotta give it up. That dude has worked on his game and his 3-point shooting. He has worked on his game. He's also a better 3-point shooter.
Anyway, that's not. I already said that.
You said only passing.
And I also said 3-point shooting. You just were so ready to fucking defend him. You weren't even listening. You stopped once.
We're ready to defend your honor, Julius. We love you.
Anyway, that the crunch time offense is brutal, brother.
It's brutal.
But
we don't even have Mitchell there to pick up offensive boards and get like an easy two. We really are bad without Mitchell, and it's tough.
I was not trying to talk about that at all.
But we fight.
No one cares, Sam. I was trying to talk about how it is sort of interesting. This is the slog, right? Like usually April is like the brutal slog. Yeah. But I will say Brooklyn and the Sixers are engaged in a who gets in the Eastern Conference. I think who gets the 1 or 2 seed matters because if you get the 1 seed versus the 2, you get to face. I think clearly it's Brooklyn, Sixers, Bucks are the class of the East, right? And it's like everyone else is a level below. I mean, the Heat are so streaky, like you can't really tell what's going on there. They lost 4, and now
they're scary in the playoffs. I think
they had lost 6, and now they won 4. Yeah, but you don't know. I mean, who knows what you're going to get from this team?
I don't think they're in the same class as the 3 you just mentioned.
Right. So I think the number 1 seed really matters because it means you only play one of those teams theoretically, right? Like if you're the 1 seed, you only play whoever comes out of the 2-3. You don't have to play. If you're the 2 seed, you have to play either. If let's say the Bucks, right? The Bucks are probably going to be the 3 seed. They're a game and a half behind the Sixers and Nets. If you're the Sixers, if you get the 1 seed, you will play the winner of Nets Bucks. You don't have to worry about but if you're the Sixers,
if the Nets are healthy, no one's beating them.
I think it's at least a series, man.
Maybe it's a series. I think the Philly actually matches up with them pretty well.
My point is, either way, no matter who's better, who's not. All I'm saying is I'm trying to come up with storylines to make this season interesting. And who comes out of the East number 1 matters because it means you face one less of the best teams in the East. And then the play-in game.
Home court for Brooklyn in the playoffs is going to suck too, especially if they play Sixers who are going to hack it with Philly fans.
Yeah, that's a great point. It really matters. Sixers, I think. The Sixers have the most to gain from getting the number 1 seed. I mean, the Bucks do too, but I mean, between the Bucks and Nets, the Sixers and Nets, because they're really good. They're really good at home. I mean, they were last year. I don't know. We don't have any numbers on that this year. Obviously, there's been no real home court advantage that matters, I don't think. But yeah, it would really matter. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And
also
the East,
Philly is a tough team. Like they're kind of made for the playoffs. That's kind of what's exciting about them is like their D is when Simmons and Embiid and people shit on Danny Green. Dude's still a great defender. You know?
I mean, that's another one. That's another one of those like coin flips. It's like he is good, but it's like he's at the age where it's like it is night to night. And then you have Thibault, who theoretically, if you put Simmons and then you have Green, you also have you have Green. You also have my guy George fucking Hill, who is a very good point guard defender, right? Like, so you have 2 guys to theoretically throw at Kyrie, and then you have Ben Simmons, and then you have fucking Embiid back there. Now, the problem is that offense, if you have Thibault playing that many minutes, is that offense doing anything for you? I don't know the answer to that. But anyway, that's a possibility. And listen, the Bucks, like a lot of people are just sort of, poo-pooing the Bucks, and we have to see in the playoffs, Budenholzer, all that stuff's true. But I will say, at the very least, in terms of 3 guys who have the bodies to defend the Nets, they're pretty good at it. They have a pretty good matchup. I mean, Middleton, Jrue, and Giannis matchup. I mean, no one's gonna. And again, don't get me wrong.
No one's gonna stop
down
these guys.
them. But in terms of just body types with very athletic, good defenders, you could do a lot worse than the fucking Bucks. And the same thing for the Sixers.
How do you feel about this? I know we got to talk about Jrue Holiday's
talk about it right now.
New contract.
Listen, he got literally the most money he could possibly get. He got the max extension on his like current contract, like whatever numbers it can go up, and he also got the most unlikely like Jrue Holiday's kind of fucked up with. He had a lot of bonuses from New Orleans. I mean, that's what fucked up actually that's what a lot of people think fucked up the Bogdanovich trade, because the one of the rumors is that the Bucks GM just didn't consider that, because those count against your cap, even though you probably won't pay them. So Drew's had like a contract with a lot of bonuses, and he got everything he could possibly get from the Bucks. Having said that, you're fucking Milwaukee, right? Like you already have Middleton and Giannis on super max and a max deal. What free agent are you really getting that makes more of a difference than Jrue Holiday? And
yeah, that's a good point.
And it's a 3-year extension, right? So it's a lot of money, but he's gonna be 35 at the end of it. Like in today's NBA, we see this. I mean, Kyle Lowry is still playing at a high level. Chris Paul, for Christ's sake, is playing at a high level. It's gotten to the point where I think even for point guards, it was a position that used to age faster. I mean, point guards and big men were always aging the fastest. Mm-hmm. It's like, because you couldn't really do much with your game. I think it's gotten to the point where we can comfortably think 35 is not even really taking a risk on a player that much anymore. It's after that you are. So to me, I think
this is like having like two jacks at the poker table. Yeah. And you're like, I think I could win with this, but I don't know. I got to go all in. You don't have two aces. Right. You got a couple jacks. You got to go for it. As you said and texted me earlier, is they traded a lot for Jrue Holiday.
Exactly. This is like once you make that trade, not re-signing him for any number, and they literally again, this guy's not a great negotiator, but I mean also Jrue would have had to been such a good guy, he gave something back, but they gave nothing up. His agent took everything.
Gave up his
from
salary
them.
in the bubble last year already. How much are we asking from this guy? He's already clearly a great guy.
And that's the thing. He's a great guy. And by the way, when he wasn't hurt, when he was hurt, the Bucks were looking out of sorts. But ever since he's been on the court lately. And even that Kings game where Giannis was out, which I watched, there was some really good games, some really good Bucks games. Giannis, by the way, on the against the Blazers, 47-12, an insane game to watch. He was fucking their ass cheeks. But then I watched
Jrue against the Kings, and he was outstanding.
He's the reason they won. It was a 1-point game, and and the Kings, by the way, showed some fight, but that little streak they're on seems to really be that seems to be over. But yeah, Jrue.
I don't think Luke Walton has that much longer in Sacramento. No. I think at a certain point you got to look at this roster and this team and go, we're underachieving. I mean, you see what's already happened with the Timberwolves, where it's like that team's been playing great since. And look, their injury luck turned around. I don't want to shit on Ryan Russell. Ryan Saunders.
I don't want to shit on Ryan Saunders.
D'Angelo's still out though.
D'Angelo just came back.
He just came back.
Came back. So the injury luck is
he didn't play
around.
Against the Knicks last week.
No, he didn't.
Tough L.
That was a tough one. But yeah, you look at what I think this team with Halliburton and Fox and Barnes, who they did not trade, and they just have Rashawn Holmes, who I fucking love. You could be a better team than you are, and they've showed it. I mean, even in their losses, I mean, their win streak came when Swiper was fucking playing out of his mind. He was Super Saiyan. Out of his mind.
He is so fucking fast. He's like the way John Wall used to just blaze by people. That's kind of what Swiper does. Where you're just like, this is he's like a fucking video game guy where you're like, that's not. What was that video game where you could just outrun people? That old fucking football game.
Yeah, Super Tecmo Bowl or whatever.
That's what he does to people. You're like, you can't stay in front of this. I know. Dude.
He's my favorite guy. I was playing my roommate on 2K before we got the PS5, and everything is. We've tried to learn it, and it's taken a step back. But earlier in the pandemic, I would play with fucking De'Aaron Fox and just literally hit the turbo button and just run around all his players and get dunks. It was awesome. But yeah, so let's finish up about the Jrue contract, and then we can keep talking about late season storylines. But I just think and also there is something to a team being like, these are our guys. We will figure it out around the margins, and also filling it with guys who want to be there. Giannis is not the typical star. He wants to be in fucking Milwaukee. Chris Middleton probably feels a little bit of that same. Giannis talks about how this team, I grew up here. This team believed in me. I went from being a guy who shared shoes with my brother in Greece to fucking $500 million. My family's taken care of for 10 generations, and it's a big thanks to this organization. Chris Middleton probably doesn't feel the same way, but Chris Middleton was also
foreign poverty goes a long way though. When you're coming poor in the US is different than being poor in Greece,
Yeah.
And you see this with foreign players sometimes, where you're just like, oh, they really stick it out. They're really loyal.
And look, here it's also there's differences, right? People don't understand that even Hakeem was middle class, right? Pascal Siakam is middle class. When you think Africa or whatever, and people have these fucking weird racist ideas of what Africa's like. Giannis, fucking his family was struggling. They were immigrants in Greece. A lot of Greece has accepted him now, but let's be honest, it's a fucking Greek people are fucking idiot, racist, backwards cocksuckers. Coming out of there, I can say that he was not their family was not getting. Now they found good treatment in certain basketball players. You know what I mean? Like people there, they found good people that supported their family and stuff. But at the same time, he was not like. A lot of these Euro players, even the ones that don't come off from great circumstances, they get to go to these like academies when they're young. You know, they're with Real Madrid and they're making a paycheck since they're fucking 13 years old. Giannis fucking started playing late. He was like, you know, it was like he would sleep at the gym. He didn't get to eat he would like eat like a meal a day. Like this, he was really like up until he was drafted living like that. So when they say
he had to put on weight, it was like, he wasn't eating enough. That wasn't like some players, it's their body type. It's like he wasn't getting enough nutrition.
Yeah, it's not skinny ass KD. It was like he just did not have enough meal. He lived in a fucking 1-bedroom apartment with his 6 siblings and his 2 parents. And he would like sell trinkets on the fucking on the road.
It's amazing that 3 of them are in the pros and one is looking like he'll be in the pros, right? I mean,
yeah. Alex is playing in Spain right now. He didn't go to college. He just went to like start making money. I was hopeful that one of them would be like, you know, at least I like Thanasi and everything, but like at least a rotation player. Thanasi, I think if it wasn't for Giannis, he's made himself into a useful piece. But I think if it wasn't for Giannis, that guy's playing in Europe. I was hoping that maybe one of the younger guys would be a little better. You know, there's time to see. But
when the Knicks signed Chris Smith, JR's brother, and I was like, wow, we really bend over, don't we? This is
for JR. But anyway,
JR was a 6th man of the year. JR Smith, you gotta give him some love.
At the time, what else were the Knicks doing? They were probably trying to get Keith Van Horn out of retirement to give him another deal.
Let's pay Luke Longley again. That worked out well for us.
So I guess my point is, like, Giannis really wants to be there. Chris Middleton was a reclamation project. He was like thrown into like some weird deal. I don't remember which one it was. I think maybe the Brandon Jennings trade. So he was like a total throwaway or something.
Brandon Jennings was like, he teased us, man. His 50-point rookie game.
Year, it was awesome.
He looked like, it was like that guy, I hate saying this, but like people were like, he's got a little Iverson in him.
Totally, yeah.
You know, he's a little dude who could shake you. He could hit the hard shots. He was a really good hard shot maker. He had like a little Jamal Crawford in him where you're like, these are not high percentage shots, but they're kind of going in.
Yeah. No, he was that year especially. I was like, oh, this guy fucking rules. But I guess all I'm saying is you have 2 guys that want to be there, and then the third guy you add is Jrue Holiday, who's one of the best guys in the fucking league, and who also is like his shooting has gone up. He's a 3-point shooter. He's a 2-way player. They're all 2-way players. And they don't have the except for Giannis. Except
they don't
for Giannis,
have the offensive firepower. They don't have the offensive firepower some other teams minus Giannis, you know, but they defensively, you're right. They're all potential all-NBA type defenders, you know?
And so
especially Jrue and Giannis, but I mean Middleton is a very he's a very upper tier defender. No question. And
Middleton has shown some like he's shown some,
and Lopez is a great defender.
He's had some big moments. Yeah, Lopez, and it's tough because you're still paying Lopez a nice amount. Like that's the fourth, like that's the one that really kind of makes it hard to even do anything. But look, at the same time, there is something nice about being like, fuck it. These are the teams in the NBA. And there's something nice about a franchise being like, when you can lock down Giannis and you can lock these other guys down, let those cocksucking fucking hedge fund managers that own the team pay the luxury tax. I don't give a fuck. Good. Like, let Giannis have as good a team as possible. And okay, so you don't get a fucking yacht. Those 2 fucking guys that wouldn't pay for they can
still get a yacht. They can still afford a yacht.
They can still get a yacht. That's what I'm saying. They're just
you know what?
So good, and I hope they pay the tax, and I hope they put as good a team around Giannis as possible.
Even though it made no sense because they're too redundant, I do kind of miss the Lopez brothers being on the same team.
That was
the same
nice.
way. Even though it would make no sense, I'd love to see the Morris brothers on the team. They're too similar, but it would be hilarious.
We're good on the Suns back in the day.
They were,
and they got fucked by the GM. They
that
took a
team
below
always
market
had.
deal.
But they always had guys on the Suns that were the same position when they had like Isaiah Thomas, Dragic, Bledsoe, and then they had those. It's like you have too many. You got to spread out. I'm all for positionless ball, but this isn't going to match up well with anyone. on defense.
That franchise is a fucking clown show overall, though.
I was thinking about the Milwaukee Bucks and some of their moves over the year. I mean, drafting Bogut -- 1 overall is, very good NBA player, but obviously not a #1 overall pick.
I don't remember that draft, but I remember everyone being like, "This draft sucks." Like, was there anything good?
But then I remember they trade him, and it was like Steph or Monte Ellis. Which one do you want? And they're like Monte Ellis, and I'm like, dude, you could have had Steph Curry.
Yeah, that's insane. I didn't even remember that trade. That's crazy.
Monte Ellis was money. I mean, no question.
No, I remember Monte.
He was a bucket,
but still, like, I didn't even realize that. I did not realize that at all. Anyway,
I'm gonna pull up that draft.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even about that. It's about what they did this offseason, except for getting, like, if they could have just kept George Hill.
Dude, listen to this draft. Yeah, there's some, #1 overall Bogut, #2 Marvin Williams, 2 guys you're like, fuck. All right.
Yeah.
Marvin Williams was already off the bench for NC at the time.
Yeah.
He was a gamble.
I liked him a lot, though. But
dude, #3, Darren Williams. #4, Chris Paul.
Oh my God! Really?
Number five, Raymond Felton, I loved Raymond.
Solid player.
Yeah, solid player. Martell Webster, 6 for the Blazers. You got Charlie Villanueva, 7. Channing Frye for the Knicks, 8. Ike Diagu for the Warriors. This is a weird draft. Bynum, 10 to the Lakers.
Okay.
There were some steals later in the draft. We got
I'm kind of shocked.
Danny
Paul
Granger
was
later.
4.
Danny Granger had a couple great years before his injuries.
Yeah,
he went 17. Nate Robinson's late in that draft. Jarrett Jack. David Lee, Knicks took him at 30. That's a good pick.
That's a pretty good draft by the Knicks. Too bad they fucked it up. Yeah, they got two of the better players in that draft.
Dude, Lou Williams went 45 to the Sixers in that draft.
Yep. That is a weird draft. I'm kind of shocked because I remember Chris Paul had hype back then. I'm kind of shocked. I guess it was still the tail end of people sucking off the big man.
That's 100% what it was.
Yeah.
And also Bogut he was great in college.
Yeah,
when you're that big, you're just dominating. And Bogut was a great defender. You can't not, he was a part of that first Warriors run.
Yeah, totally. No, Bogut was and before he got there, he was a very good player. But I can't believe Chris Paul. I just crazy because I remember he was
Darren, dude. Darren was incredible. I mean, he was like a 6'5" point guard.
And you know what? That was a team that had a lot of heat. That Illinois team, remember that? Where like the
D Brown they were money.
There's one other guy. There's 3 of them, but anyway, yeah. What else? The other stuff to talk about in the league. I can't believe this is happening, but I respect Paul Pierce.
I was waiting for this.
Paul Pierce, you know what this was? Okay, so for those you don't know, and if you haven't seen the video, please go see it. Paul Pierce was doing an Instagram live where he was just kind of having a party, and he had 8 or 12 strippers, or just otherwise sex workers. I don't know exactly.
And a blunt.
He was getting fucked up. His eyes were just bloodshot as hell. It was him and the boys, and clearly these were girls he hired to be there. Which I gotta say, man, that's the level that I'm trying to get there. Like, you just hire girls to have a nice time, be hot as shit. Probably when the cameras go off, suck you and your boys off, and everyone gets a nice time. You all shake hands at the end, and it's like, and what's funny is athletes usually do that because they're like, they don't want anything to get out, so they need like pros, right? Like they need girls who are like, just that's their job. They're gonna be fun, and they're gonna like not run their mouth, and they're not gonna tell anyone how little your dick is or how fast you bust. None of that. And then he just goes on IG Live. Like, that's the best part.
And the best part was some of I saw one comment that just said, fuck Ray Allen. I'm like, That's on your mind now? You're thinking of basketball at a time like this?
Oh my God. He fucking ruled there. There were girls that couldn't speak English that had just broke. He had all types of exotic.
It puts Disney in a very difficult position because
he got fired.
He's fired?
Yeah, they fired him. They fired him yesterday. And you know what? He was like, I will say this was an Easter miracle because Paul Pierce, here's what I think happened. Paul Pierce killed the corny Boston Celtics version of him, and he is resurrected, and the ABC shitty commentator version of him who gives the most lukewarm takes. And he came back through getting pussy and doing drugs. He has resurrected himself as a cool guy that I respect by being fucked up on IG Live and showing himself to be a guy that gets pussy from probably 4 different women in one night. And I even look, like that's
he
just
gets carried out like in the finals. He gets carried out for the third time. He's like, oh, I got one more nut in me. Come on, carry me.
Yeah, my balls hurt from busting so much. He's in the wheelchair. He's like, he's in the wheelchair. He's like, I'm busting.
AG comes to. He's like, anything is possible.
So I have to tip my hat to Paul Pierce, and
I can't believe he got fired. It's weird. I know they're Disney. I know it's ESPN, it's Disney, but at the same time, it's like you're kind of being like, well, sex workers aren't people. If you fire him for that, that is kind of weird, right?
Yeah, the guy was having a responsible, like you were having everyone there knew what was up. Everyone was having a good time. You were hired girls to hang out with you, and that's the level of rich I'm trying to get to, man. That's the shit I'm trying to be on.
Well, remember when Greg Anthony got fired for a prostitute? And I thought it was just such bullshit. I'm like, that's between him and his family. That was like this is on IG Live. He's at least being like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Paul Pierce didn't get his dick sucked on IG Live or anything, but I think we can all safely assume that he did. Unless he was, paying for the ambiance, which is possible too. I mean, I'll say this: I'm in a better mood when there's hot girls with their titties out around me, right? Like even I think that's maybe I'm just gonna start having parties. Like you're gonna come over to a housewarming party, Sam, when I move to a new place, and you're gonna be like, oh, there's just gonna be hot women. I'm gonna be like, you can't have sex with them, but they are hanging out.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool, right? No one's mad about that.
I mean, hors d'oeuvres are one thing, but you start getting hot strippers walking around, everyone's going to be like, this is a classy party.
And you know what? Maybe you can if they feel like it. That's the thing. It's like we're getting professional. We're stocking the roster. It's almost like if we were to have a basketball team and we went out and scouted some guys that had played in Europe. And we're like, this team is so fun to play with. These guys were winning every time. It's like, yeah, we had to pay them, but who cares? I'm having the time of my life.
We stocked the team. I think you're onto something here.
Yeah. Okay. That's what, maybe we change we proposition Stan Van Gundy. Because when we get to 2,000 Patreon subscribers, we said we were going to proposition Stan Van Gundy for sex. Maybe we're going to switch that to me and Sam have a Paul Pierce style party. Where we go IG Live and we hire strippers to just hang out in my apartment, and we're just smoking weed and just hanging out. That's the new $2,000. We pull a Paul Pierce. We are going to pull a Paul Pierce.
I also, what I would like to do is enter a 3-on-3 tournament, and we get a ringer from Europe. We get like a Rudy Fernandez type.
Okay. That's one for me, one for you. I pull the Paul Pierce. I'll hire a woman to have sex with me. You hire a man to do a alley-oop with you.
To help me with my back. To help me with my back pain. He'll train me.
Yeah, he's got to be a PT as well. We need a guy who played in Spain and also went to physical therapy school, at least part-time.
I realize how Jewy, I've become such a stereotype. Not only does my back go out, I complain about it a lot. Like I hit every fucking level of Jewy that an anti-Semite would be like, ooh, I hate you. Like I really don't like you.
I know. It was destined. It was destined for you to have a bad back. There's no way around it.
I'm lanky.
You were too Jewish not to have some kind of Jewish ailment. What are the other traditional Jewish ailments? I feel like
allergies,
sinus problems. Yeah.
Oh, I get those. Yeah.
Yep. Dairy, lactose intolerance, right?
I'm drinking oat milk in my coffee right now, dog.
You really are a 5-star Jew. You got it all, dude. You're a 5-tool Jew.
That's why the Jewish star is 5 corners. You have
to. Yeah. So anyway, this will be made. Look, I have an open mind. I might start respecting Paul Pierce full time, depending on how he behaves from here on out. But
is he going to do a podcast? You think? What is he doing from here?
I don't know. Yeah, it would be funny if he just joins the real ones now. He just gets to be on the cool podcast. They're like, all right, hell yeah, Paul, you get to be on the one with fucking the Jarrett or Captain Jack and fucking Matt. The fucking guy.
Steven Jackson and
Matt Barnes, dude. Thank you so much. Look, my fucking brain is not what it. I think I might. Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting dumber. I'm not excited about going back to fucking real life, dude. I'm so used to.
Dude, it's crazy. Hermit. It's crazy being out and doing shows again, and it's fucking weird.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
It's nice.
It feels like you know what I feel like right now. I feel like it's like the week before summer vacation's over, and I'm like, all right, I guess I got to go back to school. You know what I mean? It's like I miss all my friends. I want to do it again, but it's also like, damn, I got used to just fucking watching 3 action movies a day.
It's life. It's hard to go back to real life.
Yeah, I know,
We
man.
got PTSD from this shit. We got used to doing everything on Zoom, but I'll tell you, man, it's going to be better for our health.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like just being on Zoom all day. It's kind of like, what are we doing?
I know. No, I the first time I perform, it's gonna. And you know what? Maybe I'll even announce it here. 420 Fat Tuesdays at the Stand is coming back. So
yeah.
After that, we're gonna fucking be really. We're gonna be humming. So anyway, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm on the road too, man. I'm fired up. I got a ton of road dates I added. I'm fucking pumped. I'm working it, dude.
I'm trying to figure before. I don't want to really start on the road until I'm in August. I'm going to start, but I'm going to take a couple months and maybe we should talk about it. Where I want to do some of these because you've been doing these hours in the city. I think I'm going to do that like at least once or twice a week and just kind of like.
I think it's smart, man. You just kind of work shit out. You listen to the set. You get some jokes. I definitely had some jokes that were killing in these little restaurants. I'm like, oh, these aren't cellar ready. These aren't like working in the clubs or Gotham or whatever. You know, I'm kind of like,
yeah.
But you know, the road is easier than New York. New York is this. They got a higher bar for what they'll laugh at. It's weird. The road people are just kind of. They're just more chill.
I do think, and I wonder if this summer and fall in general is like people will be so happy to be out. It might be just like the best shows of all time, but who knows?
Yeah,
it might not be. It might also be, I mean,
I think it's going to take a minute just because the setups are weirder. Because every club is distanced now, so we're not on top of people like we were. So that's kind of weird.
That is weird. Yeah, that is weird.
But I mean, they've got energy. The late shows have energy. When they're a little loose. It's the early shows are weird.
Interesting. Yeah. We'll see.
The late shows, when they're a little drunk, they let it all out. And you kind of have, if you address that it's weird and you just kind of act like,
of course, like a real human being and not just plow forward with your act.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited though. I am excited to get back in there and that'll be fun. But,
I think the hour is a great idea, man.
Yeah, I'm going to start doing that. In May, I think. So we'll figure it out. But stay tuned, folks. We'll be updating you. Me and Sam will both be hitting the road. It sounds like starting. Sam's already starting.
They're all on my website. Everything. Cleveland coming up, Salt Lake.
I'm coming to Salt Lake in August.
Connecticut. That's a fucking great club, man.
I can't wait.
He's a big hoops fan. The guy who runs a big Utah guy. So.
Oh, nice.
You're right. Yeah. Your hotel is right across from where the Jazz play, I think.
Ooh, yeah. It's a shame that I will be there in August.
Or maybe it's like a couple blocks, but it's like it's in the area. It's like there.
I would have liked to go check out a Jazz game, maybe next year. But anyway, yeah. Why don't we even fucking talk about the Jazz? Who, they're staying at number 1. They just lost. They just broke their streak. They were the Mavs actually who have been on a tear. They're on a 5-game win streak, but they're still what 2.5 games behind the Lakers who are cratering. But the Jazz are still looking good. The Suns are still looking good. They're on a 6-game win streak.
Dude, they're just a good team.
I will say the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets are going to at least be the 3. They're going to overtake either the Clippers or the Suns. I think they could even be the 2 seed because you see this Aaron Gordon thing, and we talked about it a little bit, but he's perfect for them. And I think
for Jokic who gets you open drives, and they needed a guy who just attacked hard at the rim and could just finish.
And who's cutting constantly and who's a solid 3-point shooter, especially when the looks are so open because you're getting them from Jokic. I've really liked
Jamal, they're good.
I've really liked the way they've looked. And it's been exciting. I watched their Sixers game, and I watched who else did they fucking play? I don't remember. They won every. Oh, the Clippers. They had that win over the Clippers, which is a big win.
Shouts out to my man Terrence Mann, though. I've been talking this kid up for a few weeks now. I think this kid can hoop. He is tough.
He's good, and I think it makes sense why maybe they're just thinking like fuck it. He's getting Lou Will's minutes anyway. So I think the Nuggets and I looked up their strength of schedule. They have one of the easiest schedules left in the league for the duration of the season. They have the 21st strongest schedule. So Denver could be the fucking 2 seed, honestly. I think
Doesn't really matter where the Lakers land though, as long as LeBron and AD are healthy. I mean, that's really
I think it's worse for. I mean, that would be so funny if I'm saying Denver could get the 2 seed and then the Lakers are the 7 seed. You know how much that would be brutal.
It's possible.
You know what?
They could keep slipping.
Yeah, they really could. There's no timetable for either one of those injuries to come back, which is this is a sign.
Pretty kind of like last year. This is a pretty wide open playoffs because of injury. Like if someone goes down for the Lakers,
yeah, if they're not healthy by the time of the playoffs, and then there's an injury, you kidding me? Yeah. Although I do like Schroeder. Schroeder is playing for a contract. He didn't resign. He's one of the only point guards now that Jrue resigned. It's like Kyle Lowry is basically the big free agent, and it's like, you know, he's a little older. Schroeder is like, I mean, Schroeder's not going to get Jrue Holiday money by any stretch, but that doesn't hurt the market for point guard contracts by any, you know, in any way. So, yeah, I mean, the Lakers, they just keep sliding. The only team the only team they beat recently, anytime a team is even remotely good, although the Kings, that was a tough loss for the Kings. You got to be able to beat the fucking LeBron AD-less Lakers. But it's not
fun watching Montrez get big minutes, though, because he is a bucket, man. He really is a fun player to watch. Just tough and physical and hits that mid-range J. He's a fun player.
And his team loses by 12 points when he plays 30 minutes.
True. But also, I'll say this too. Kuzma is playing pretty good D. I'm watching.
Kuz has become like a fucking like a grit energy type of guy because he realized I'm not a star and I want to stay in LA. I'll fucking scrub toilets. I'll do whatever the fuck like just keep me here. My girlfriend is an IG model. She will break up with me if I have to go to Memphis. Like it's like, and he's done everything. He's really, and he's a good. I mean, I think he's turned himself into a legitimate.
He's turned himself into like a utility
forward.
Guy.
Utility forward type guy.
But he's become much better. It's funny, just winning a championship changes certain dudes' swag. You see it with KCP too. I know KCP, you know, his numbers aren't great lately. He's playing without LeBron or AD. But when he's got a full team and he's kind of the open shot guy who just plays D, I think KCP's money.
Yeah, and it's like it's unfair. It's on some level it's unfair to judge these guys when it's like the whole way you play is around AD and LeBron, and both of them are gone. It's like, so I don't know.
We got a big game coming up tomorrow, by the way.
What do we got tomorrow?
Knicks Celtics, baby.
Ooh, that is a fun one. That's one where I will be setting aside my battle for steak allegiances and be rooting very heavily for the fucking for
I wish we were healthy, but you know King Julius is gonna have a game against Boston, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know he hates the Boston Celtics just like we do. King Julius for life. And we need everyone. We just need to get healthy, man. Without Mitch, it's a bummer, but you know.
Yeah. And IQ didn't have a great game against Brooklyn.
He didn't play much.
He's a rookie. It's that shit happens.
We're getting a flash here and there from Obi lately. I hope it keeps. I don't want. You can't give up on the kid. He's a rookie, but I'm a little disappointed. I thought we'd get more from him.
Well, I will say, I mean, yes, he hasn't shown it, and obviously it's like you got to earn the minutes. But this where Tibbs is tough is how many minutes Taj Gibson's getting recently. And I know Mitch is hurt, but it's like, for the love of God, give Obi more minutes, even if he hasn't earned them. Like, just he's got to.
Taj rebounds and plays D, and Obi's just not that good at either.
But I'm just saying, like, this is the kind of shit where I'm like, I would have loved to see. Like, I'm all for the playoff.
I like
run.
Taj Gibson.
I like him too, but it's like, come on, man. It's like this is where trying to get the 8 seed could potentially hurt. I mean, look, maybe Obi's just a fucking flop. Who knows? But you know,
I'm actually a pretty big Nerlens fan as well. I mean, he attacks the rim.
Yeah, Nerlens. Nerlens is good. He's sort of, especially with Mitch hurt, and it's like it's so funny. Mitch left Clutch Sports because they signed Nerlens, but Nerlens. They took him.
Remember, turned down like $80 million with the Mavs. Which is brutal.
One of the worst financial decisions anyone's ever made. But
he really is a great backup center. I mean, he's a great rim protector. He blocks you at the fucking, like, I love him when he gets these big blocks.
Yeah, no, it's tough for him because he was like he was one of the Sixers process picks.
He would have been number one if not for his injury. Everyone was saying that year.
Yeah.
And he got traded for Jrue Holiday, remember?
Yep, that's right. That's right. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's I don't know how we got to talk about the Knicks again. What the fuck else was I trying to talk about?
I said the Knicks Celtics tomorrow night. It wasn't even a segue. I just pounced right on
it. Yeah. Well, here's what I want to talk about. I wanted to give you credit actually, because I thought that the Lakers were gonna like top out at 5 for sure, but the Blazers are only a half game back. You were saying about the Blazers, and I thought
like them.
I thought their schedule was much harder, and it's harder, but I looked at the strength schedule. The Blazers have one of the hardest schedules, but the Lakers are pretty right there behind them because I guess they were just kind of backloaded with nationally televised games because the NBA wanted LeBron playing like in big matchups going into the playoffs. Right. And I trust fucking Dame and his full team way more than I do fucking KCP and Dennis Schroeder to
Not to mention they got Powell now, who's a nice little piece. They got Nurkic, who's coming back like looks like, light minutes, but he's still back.
Yeah, no, he's back. He's playing at 5. They got him on minutes restrictions. He's playing like
20 minutes a game.
Yeah, he's playing 5 minutes at a time. The real question that, like, to me, I think the Blazers are going to overtake the Lakers at this point. The real question is, are the Mavs going to stay this hot? Because they are only 2.5 games behind the Lakers. Can the Lakers at least stave off the Mavs? Can at least until LeBron comes back, and then can they keep pace? Because I think being 6 is a lot better than being 7. You don't have to fucking worry about the play-in tournament. I don't think the Lakers are going to lose the play-in tournament, especially if they're the 7th seed. But I would just rather not be.
It should be 8th seed.
No, shut the fuck up. Just because the Knicks might get out of the playoffs. It's been
That's
exciting.
not why I'm saying it.
It's been exciting as fuck. And not only that, but teams stay better and they don't tank at midseason. It's made the trade deadline a little less exciting because teams aren't out of it. But I like that the 10 seed is still in it. I like that the people are still trying to make win now moves and keeping basketball exciting towards the end. Like, I think we will at least, like I talked in the beginning about some of the storylines, the play-in tournament is one of the storylines. Will the Pelicans be able to fucking overtake the Warriors, who are looking like dog shit recently, by the way?
Yeah, they're just not a good team. The word on the street is that there was an offer, Oubre and a first for Lonzo.
Yeah, wow, stealing Harry's reporting and calling it word on the street.
Word on the street is that
you are a fucking despicable human being. Our beautiful producer, Hard Dick Harry, goes out of his way to do a little research for the show.
I didn't see it. I swear I didn't see that one.
On the text thread, and you say it's a word on the street. Did I respond to it? Look, I don't know if you responded to it or not, but I certainly did. Me and Harry had a little back and forth.
When did he send that?
He sent it yesterday.
Let me see if I saw that.
It doesn't. That's neither here nor there, Sam. The point. Fine. We'll call it a joint word on the street and one of HDH's.
I saw this before he sent it though. I didn't respond. I didn't see it. See, okay. I didn't respond.
Which one is it? You saw it before. You didn't respond.
No, I didn't see this text till just now, and okay. I saw it yesterday. I saw it before even sent it.
The word on the street, the
it's
facade,
not compromised, Stavros. No, it's legitimate. I'm deep throat, motherfucker. I'm deep throat. Word on the street lives. What do you think? I think it's a good. I don't know.
Say it again. Okay. Tell the people what you stole from Harry so that they can hear it for once.
My man Kelly Oubre in a first for Lonzo Ball. Would you have done that?
100%. I mean, obviously not Minnesota's first, but if one of Golden State's firsts, then yeah, 100%. And if the fact that they didn't do it is fucking crazy because Oubre has not looked that good, and Lonzo's the exact kind of player that, like, you want to talk about these intangible players that grease the gear, like, lube up the fucking gears for great players. Like, what Lonzo's sort of a fucking point guard version of Draymond, if you think about it. It's like high IQ, like maybe a little underachieving on offense, but a good defender and just like knows how to make smart basketball plays. I'm not saying he's as great as Draymond. Everyone suck my dick if, don't jump all over me, but Oubre is just a slightly above average wing. And Lonzo gives you way more looks, especially when you have Wiggins who's staying there, right?
Well, do you start him next year if you bring Lonzo in? Do you start him at the 2?
You just have more flexibility with your lineups. with, you have somebody who can play backup to Steph. You have somebody who can play with Steph and Clay. They can go super small. He's a great defender, a great passer. Again, what are we talking about? What does well with these Warriors? It's like those guys that are in the that are almost semi-reclamation project, like they get fucking turbocharged by their environment. Your Sean Livingstons, your Barbosas, all this kind of. Tell me Lonzo doesn't 100% fit in that lineage of type of players that get.
Well, Barbosa was a really good jump shooter. Barbosa was more of like a Bobby Jackson type.
No, I'm just saying they're good players that find the absolute perfect role with these. With the best shooters in the fucking.
I don't know if Lonzo. I think Lonzo might have to be a sixth man. I mean, I'm sure he'd finish games, but I don't think he would be down with that. I do think, if I would rather have him on the team than Oubre, just with the fit for the Warriors. I think he would make life a lot easier for Steph.
I think he ultimately, you recognize Lonzo probably recognizes the value in playing with Steph and Clay. You know what I mean? And it's like, if you are part of the team, because we've been talking about this, where it's like when the Warriors come back, even one of the most, fucking one of the most like dedicated Warriors haters since for the last 10 years, part of me would be like, it's nice to see these guys back at it, reloaded, because it becomes the Expendables, right? Like it becomes like nostalgic almost. It's like, I was rooting for LeBron 7 years ago when the Warriors won or 6, whatever it was. But you know what? That was the best year of my life. The year the Warriors won their first championship, I had moved to a townhouse in Baltimore with my boys. It was the last year before I was going to move to New York. I was the best comic in my scene. I was getting pussy for the first time in my life. If it's going to remind me of fucking Baltimore in 2014, bro, I'm rooting for those. I'm like, yeah, again, like we talk about Carmelo, where it's like Melo reminds me of college. The Warriors' first championship reminds me of like being 24.
And everyone loved them back then.
Yeah. And they were lovable. They were the way they were playing was fun and exciting. And like, you're right. The hate didn't really take the next step until Durant. But at the same time, it's like, so you're telling me Lonzo had a chance to be a part of a part of this like Warriors like fucking one last job team, and that's not going to raise your profile more than even you're a starter on New Orleans even, or you're a starter like you become the sixth man, and possibly
next year they could be scary if they had Lonzo. They have a healthy Klay Thompson. Say Klay gets back to his regular form. That's what I'm saying. And then you got Draymond, and then you got young Wiseman who could take a step forward next year.
And by the way, you have the Minnesota pick, so either you keep Wiseman, or you could even, or the Minnesota pick becomes a top whatever player. You could trade one or both of those things for an even better fucking player. Maybe you could package those two incredible assets with Wiggins' fucking max contract. Who knows what you could get? Then you're even starting to think about Bradley Beal type shit. You know what I mean? Like, and you have I'm just throwing shit out there. But
Bradley Beal on that team would be fucking unfair.
It wouldn't be unheard
Imagine
of.
Steph, Beal, Klay, and Draymond in the same starting lineup.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, that's me.
Draymond gets motivated. He becomes scary Draymond on defense again. That's
one last time Draymond puts together. So anyway, that was I think that's a really fucking stupid. I think that was fucking dumb. Like, all some disrespect.
And I'm sorry, Harry. I really did not see that text. I did not mean to pass off your text as word on the street. I apologize. Hard Dick Harry, we love you.
You're trying to siphon off.
No, Word on the Street is one of the most reputable columns in podcast history. Word on the Street. Everyone talks about it.
How dare you try and leech off some of that hard dick blood from Harry? You're like a George Washington leech right now on Harry's beautiful erection.
This is like Stand By Me, man. I'm all over that penis. Leeches everywhere, dog.
Fuck. But that was very fucking stupid on their behalf for sure. Is there anything else I wanted to fucking talk about? Oh, Paul George's injury. It's a little weird. There's been a couple weird injuries. Talk about the Lakers sliding. Andre Drummond's fucking toenail came off his foot and he hasn't played. So gross.
Such a gross injury.
Evan Fournier, I think, might have COVID or something. He's missed a couple games because of the health and safety protocols. Paul George has been out. I mean, He says he can't bend his fucking toe, which is not a good sign. So I don't know. The Clippers are looking kind of strange potentially. I think with the surging Nuggets, the Clippers could fall to 4. But
the Clippers look pretty good though, man. And my man Mook coming off a hot game against the Lakers, 4 for 5 from 3. That's what we remember from New York. Those just a bucket getting machine in Mook. Kennard showing some flashes, man. I kind of like what the Clippers are doing right now. I think once playoff Rondo comes into the mix, they could be a terror. That being said, the Nuggets and the Blazers and the Suns, I mean, this is going to be a fucking great playoffs. This is going to be a really Utah.
Yeah, and if Paul George is hurt, man, I mean, I don't know. That's a really tough one. And dude, how about this? Now you want to really get the chatter going. Paul George is hurt. Kawhi's a free agent this year. You know what I'm saying?
Knicks.
Yeah.
It makes sense, dude.
I was gonna say Miami. Miami was clearing out that cap space for Giannis. Giannis is off the table. I don't know. You tell me Kawhi wouldn't like to play with an all business.
We got RJ Barrett and Julius Randle and Mitch. It kind of fits perfectly. We don't have a 3.
Julius Randle.
Don't you ever disrespect
Come
Julius
on,
Randle.
you fucking asshole. Who's a better fucking core to play with, the Knicks or the fucking Heat? Are you out of your mind? Oh, Kawhi, you know the guy that loves being in the fucking big city spotlight. That's the guy who wants to be on the fucking New York Post every fucking day. He doesn't want to.
He kind of does like celebrity. He actually doesn't, but I think he went to he went to LA, dude.
You are out. This is so funny. You're like, Kawhi kind of like celebrity. The new levels your delusion reaches every day is unbelievable. One of the guys who fucking.
He'd be good on Miami. I can't deny it. He'd be good on Miami, but he'd be even cooler in the Big Apple.
Yeah, thank you for saying cooler and not better, because Bam.
You would be so happy if we got Kawhi.
Of course, but that's not
Quickly. He would love Young Quickly. He's adorable. And then we've got RJ Barrett.
Yeah, he would rather play with those. He would rather play with Obi Toppin.
I think Barrett and Quickly take a big step forward. And under the tutelage of Boardman Gets Paid, you're wearing the shirt today.
That's right.
And I think with King Julius,
I'm trying to get an endorsement deal with New Balance.
They're not as redundant. I mean, I do think as great as Paul George is, he and Kawhi don't make as much sense together as King Julius and
they're not as redundant. Oh my God. But what about fucking
Let's take over the Big Apple. Let's take over the big fucking apple, dude.
You're telling me you would rather play with the Knicks than a starting 5 of Bam Adebayo, Kawhi Leonard, Jimmy Butler,
Tyler
Hero, and pick Duncan Robinson or Goran Dragic, or maybe you get another point guard. You're telling me that's what you'd rather play with than the Heat?
I'm a New Yorker. I'm in a New York state of mind. I want to restore the Knicks to glory. And if anyone can do it, it's Kawhi Leonard, man. Our defense is already incredible. Imagine Kawhi coming
He's not
on board.
going anywhere, but it's so funny that you immediately.
Yeah, no, I know he's a San Diego guy.
Anyway.
If there was any justice, we'd get the claw. I'll fucking pick up Kawhi if you're listening. I'll buy your fucking New Balance sneakers. I'll wear a Boardman Gets Paid shirt to the Garden. I'll fucking cheer your name from the rafters, and the Garden will be on fire. King Julius will gladly. It'll be a co-kingdom.
Oh, a co-kingdom. He won't become a prince.
We're a family. We're a family. Yeah, okay. And Julius is the leader of the team, but he would embrace your leadership as a championship as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd have 2 guys.
I love that not only are you so delusional to think that Kawhi wants to come to New York and play with Julius Randle.
Start the dialogue, people.
But that Julius Randle would maintain leadership of the team if Kawhi came to the fucking
No,
Knicks.
I said they'd be co-leaders. They'd be co-leaders.
Oh my God, you're fucking.
I think this could be big, and I really think
no more. We're done.
We have to speak it. Look, man.
The dialogue is ended. We are not starting it. We are finishing it right here.
Start the dialogue.
The dialogue is over.
Put it out into the universe. New York Post, get a Kawhi to the Big Apple.
Yeah, what kind of puns can we make with Kawhi? What do you think? What are some good New York Post headlines?
Kawhi not New York.
Kawhi not New York. Kawhi not the Knicks, folks. That's a good. You know what? You won me over with that one. Fuck. Anything else?
Kawhi, I know it matters to you to be a star. I know you act like it doesn't, but I know it matters to you. New York, you'll get more coverage than KD. You'll get more coverage than that. This is a Knicks town.
He
dude.
doesn't want coverage.
He does.
He doesn't.
And if you don't want it, we'll back off. We'll give you your space. That's the New York way, brother. Whatever you want.
Yeah, that's right. The New York way is backing off and giving people space.
I'm fired up, man.
Okay.
Kawhi to the Knicks.
You're right, man. Kawhi and King Julius, the gentleman engine dragon Randall
the young dragon
will be co-kings of the kingdom.
Young dragon.
Do you have anything else you wanted to touch on there, Sammy boy?
I'm just excited for the Knicks Celtics Wednesday. I hate Boston. I love the Knicks. Boston slipping, and I hope we got this one.
That'd be a good one. I will say one thing that I'm looking forward to this week is the Suns. I keep saying I'm going to watch more Suns. I haven't. I watch more Nuggets. I really enjoy watching them. I might just fucking keep watching them, honestly. But the Suns have back-to-back against the Jazz and the Clips this week, and that's going to be something I'm going to keep my eye on. So that's going to be a nice test for them. I mean, if they win both those, that's crazy. Even if they go 1-1, that's really good for them.
Chris Paul's changed. I talk about culture a lot. Drink up, people. I talk about culture on this podcast, but Chris Paul has changed the culture in Phoenix. And Monty Williams has got to be in Coach of the Year discussions. You got to. I mean, it's probably leading Quinn Snyder right now, but you got to put Monty in the conversation because they're number 2, man.
Yep, I agree with that.
Shit, Doc. I guess Doc and Steve Nash are in it too, but
for sure. That's an interesting. Yeah, I wonder who goes away. Yeah, I mean, dude, you know who won't be, but like weirdly should be in terms of just purely who's done the best coaching job with nothing is the new coach on the Thunder, who I don't even know his name, Dagnall or whatever. Is that his name? Mark Dagnall.
Also, fucking Tibbs. This team. I mean, look, if they have a slightly better record to finish the season, he's in the convo.
Yep. Yeah, he's in the convo. Fine, I'll give you that one.
He's
in the convo more than Julius Randle is in the MVP convo. I'll give you that.
Look, he's not the MVP, but he is an all NBA player.
No, he is not. There's no chance he's all
Look
NBA.
at the numbers. Look at the facts.
I'll be looking at a crisp $50 bill. That's what I'll be fucking looking at.
You'll be looking
come the end of this fucking season.
You'll be looking at it as you hand it to me. You'll be like, oh, I shouldn't have bet this 50 as you hand it to me.
All right, let's end with a couple.
His stats, fuck, man, 22.9,
shut up.
41 from 3, 11 boards and 6 dimes. Okay. Tell me the engine ain't getting your motors revved up.
He's not going to be all NBA. Okay. This
third team all NBA.
This is not going to happen.
And Kawhi's going to be like, I want to play with this kid.
That's a guy I need on my team. That's this fucking young engine, this young dragon engine I need.
The dragon. Roar! That's him breathing his fire. Roar! The Julius, the fire-breathing dragon.
The fire-breathing dragon. Oh, let's add fire-breathing to it. The young gentleman fire-breathing dragon engine king. Okay, let's read some fucking reviews here. This is from George89. He says, Reformed Knicks fan. As a Reformed Knicks fan who lives in Philly, I love listening to the pod that sounds exactly like my dad's opinions. Sixers in 6, he says. Steven 11111, a bunch of ones, says, love this pod when I want to hear 2 men who look like they'd be killed in Breaking Bad fight over 2 teams not in contention for an overpriced steak in New York City. That's right. That's the number 1 podcast for that, my friend Steven. Kaizi says, love the pod. Very funny. Got my friend to pay for the premium as well, but he now resents the Knicks. Thank you for enrolling your friend in one of the Hard Dick 1300. We appreciate that, Kaizi. This is from Gorp Lord, who says, read me or Bulls lose battle of steak. Thank you.
Oh, dude, don't read it, dude. Don't read it.
Sorry. Longtime Cumboy, Sammy carries the podcast, which I got to say, pretty impressive. Fuck the Bulls. Wow. He tricked me on that one.
He tricked you.
He said it was going to be. But anyway, P.S. I take an entire hour of Sam's Knicks delusions over 10 minutes of crappy movie corner with Stav. You know what, Gorp Lord, you corner. Fucking idiot. Suck our fucking cocks.
I think we do even more movies now.
You know what, Gorp Lord, get ready for the Pod Don't Lie movie special next week because of your fucking bitch ass.
I like the movie corner.
Yeah, we're doing it big time. Suck my dick, but thank you for the 5-star review. Oh, you know what? He did it on April Fool's Day, so this must be a big April Fool's joke as far as I'm concerned. Because my movie opinions are beautiful. I will say there is somebody else who gave us a 4-star review. It looks pretty funny, but guess what, motherfucker? 4 stars don't get read. Okay, 5 stars only get read. You fucking piece of shit. The fuck does this look like? You're gonna give us 4 out of 5 stars? Eat my fucking. I got 4 out of 5 inches for you, pal. That's what I got for you. Because I'm not even gonna give you the dignity of getting fully hard to fuck your ass. That's gonna do it for us, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back with a Patreon episode probably Friday, if I had to guess. Friday. But we will be back as always, and maybe we'll do fucking an hour of movies thanks to Gorple or that fucking cocksucker. Thank you guys, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.